Morning, everyone. And can you believe it? It's actually the last week of the lung channel. But that means we're 1/12 of the way through. Hi, Andreas from Vienna. 1/12 of our journey through the meridians through the entire year. Very excited about that. And next week, we'll be going onto the large intestine meridian. I just want to found another graphic. I think Diana found this and put it in the chat the other day, something like this anyway. I just want to show you this picture. And this is a picture, I found it online. There's lots of these. If you Google 24-hour clock, you'll find lots of these charts and you'll see where we are. We've just completed 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. This very week. And you can see that what they recommend is deep sleep, dreams and memory, detoxifying the lungs. So between 3 and 5, that's when you should really be getting a really good quality sleep, ready for your breathing exercises, which you're going to do, of course, at 5 o'clock in the morning when you get up and wake up and you do your Tai Chi. At least that's what they do in China. A little bit too early for me, but you get the idea. So that's where we are. We're in the metal element and we've just completed the lungs. Hi, everyone on the chat. And thank you, Kat, as well, because Kat's going to be looking after the chat today. Okay, so let's get straight on with the exercises. We've got one more week, as I say, of the lungs before we move on to the large intestine, and we'll find out how the first loop of the meridians move together next month, and that will set us off on the rest of the journey for the whole year. Okay, so last week we did a poll, didn't we, on the different nervous system zones, and what really was very interesting to find out that there's a lot of us in the group who are still in that red zone and in that blue zone. So Wednesday classes are still needed. We're still going to be here for you while they're needed. So I thought today we'll focus in on the lungs. We'll review the whole lung channel. We'll get to the end of the lung meridian. But also what I'd like to do is I'd like to go back to basics and really check in with how we're feeling in terms of that connection with heaven and earth. And we use that as a symbolic way to see whether we're kind of like too ungrounded or too heavy. So we can get a nice balance between too much sinking down, connecting to the earth, and not enough lifting up, or too much up here. So we're going to be tuning into that when we do our whole body scan today. And we'll find out how we're doing with the burners. And then we've kind of designed the session around you again as a group. I'm included in that group, by the way. So all together, we can try and find a way of balancing that out and fitting the lung channel in with that today. Okay, so let's get straight on with the whole body scanning. And we're going to focus it in, as I say, on how we are feeling between heaven and earth. And I'll show you how to do that. You know, it's a bit cold today, so I'm going to keep my jacket on for a bit, keep myself warm. So before we do anything this week, what I thought would be really good is just to tune in to our whole energy field and just check it in and see whether you're feeling a little bit too much or a lot too much like this, heavy, connect like this, or whether you're feeling too much or a lot too much like this, where you're ungrounded, you're kind of floating around like this. Okay, so first of all, let's do that. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to tune in to where I'm at and just see where my energy feels. Does it feel like it's all going up or all down or pretty much in the middle? Okay, so I've got mine. I'm going to put you just draw an arrow up or down or a circle to say that you're in the middle. I'm just going to draw that here. Okay, great. So we've got the up and down thing going on. So now let's just scan through and see if there are any weaknesses or blocks in our whole energy field. So we're going to scan through, do a whole body scan all the way through. This is called focusing in other disciplines. Really important thing. It's really good to do it like once a week just to check in and see how we're doing. So let's go. So starting off above the head, we're going to scan down through the top of the head, through the jaw, through the eyes as well, and the ears, through down into our throat, through the shoulders and chest, down through our arms, through the whole body. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, I've got that chart, that daily chart, as a handout, which I'll give at the end of the session, just in case you're wondering. So we're going to go down through the diaphragm, through the abdomen, hips, knees, ankles and feet. Okay, so just out, zooming out, tuning into the whole field, scanning. I'm just going to close my eyes and just do mine for a second. Okay, very good. Yep. So I've got that chart as a handout for later on, as I mentioned. In the meantime, let's just draw a whole body scan here. So interesting. It's you feel if you come in every week, you're going to be noticing that it changes. Hopefully every week, maybe some themes are the same. I can remember my last one last week, and I'm definitely a little not different this week. That's me. I really do need the Wednesday class there. Okay, so now it's time for the burners, and we can figure out. I'm going to do a couple of polls in a minute. I'm going to find out whether we're generally up or down. Be very interested in that, and then we'll find out which burner you'd like to work in. And then what we'll do is we'll work with the burners, the breathing. Feature the lung channel in with it just to finish up, and then we'll see if we can balance out the whole of our group in terms of grounding and connecting with the heavens. Okay, so let's go through the 3 burners. I've got my 3 burner chart hastily made like this, simply made with 2 lines like that, very simple. And we'll go through all 3 this week. We'll go through all 3 levels and 3 burners, and then we'll draw them at the end. And that gives us a chance to get a bit of a contrast there between each of the burners. Okay, are you ready? So we're going to just stand in a relaxed way, just shake out a little bit. Let's tune into that lower burner, below the navel, all the way around into the sacrum, pelvic floor. It encompasses the whole of the organs in the lower part of the abdomen. We're just going to relax, tune into that area. See what's happening. Okay, form it into a picture or ask yourself some questions. What is it like? And then we're going to shift up into the middle burner. So that's this area here around below the diaphragm. That includes the stomach and the liver. And it also includes the lower thoracic vertebrae here. So I'm just going to go for that whole area there. And we're going to ask ourselves, does it feel different from the lower burner? So we're going to scan into that. Okay, so we'll just picture that. And then we can go into the upper burner, that's the heart and the lungs. And we're going to tune into the upper burner and ask ourselves, what is that like? Okay, very good. Now we're going to zoom out. I'm just going to compare the 3 areas. See which one you feel you'd like to work on the most this week. Sometimes it's not always easy to decide, is it? Okay, we're just going to spend a moment just drawing our 3 burners. Okay, it's a bit of a difficult decision this week for me. But we'll do the poll in a minute. I think I know which one I'm going to choose. So here we go. Ready? I'm going to run a couple of polls. I'm going to go for the first one, which is, are you feeling, is your energy up, down, or about right? We'll just run this poll and we'll see, is your energy too much, very ungrounded, too up a bit, about balanced, or too down, too heavy, or very much too down? Get an idea of where we are in the as a group as a whole, and then we'll run the 3 burner poll and we'll work about this. Let's just see how we're doing. Okay, now this is very interesting because in the past we've got pretty much an even distribution. So we've had an equal number of people feeling too up and an equal number feeling too down, and we've kind of got a curve there. And then sometimes that's changed, and we've had very strong predominance of people 2 up in the group or 2 down. And look what we've got today. We've actually got quite a pretty serious majority there of feeling too heavy and too ungrounded. And if we map that against what we found out last week with quite a lot of us being in the red zone and particularly the blue zone, then you can see how the stress is starting to affect that by basically what that is in Chinese medicine is there's not enough connection with the heavens, with hope, joy, movement, warmth, love, all those upward movements. And that means that we're getting too much of the feeling of connected with the earth, which is kind of makes us feel slow and heavy. Now, when it's balanced, yin and yang should work perfectly together. It's not like a right or wrong. But the main thing is to get it balanced, and that's what we're going to try and do today. So let's see if we can. So all we need now is just find out where we are with the burners, which burner you'd like to work on. And we've had some pretty dramatic switches around with the burners as well over the last nearly 2 years. So let's see what we've got today. We can map that against the tendency for everything to be 2 down generally. And we can see what we can do about it. Okay, look at this. The upper burner was way out a few weeks ago, and it's been pulling away from the others, but it seems to be calming down a bit, everyone. So we're getting back to a more balanced state, but the lower burner is definitely trailing. We've got middle and upper burners running out ahead. So that's good because we're going to be working on the lungs. Also means that we probably need to get some stagnation moving in the middle burner. Okay, let's go, everyone. Let's see if we can finish up in an hour's time feeling a lot more balanced, heaven and earth, and just able to deal with everything in so much more of a calm yet active way. That's the yin and the yang together. Okay, here we go. Okay, so first off, it really is a good idea to do some shaking out because we want to try and remove any obstruction that's stopping us from getting that connection. What we're going to do through the exercises this morning is we're going to constantly check in and see whether a particular exercise has affected our ability to stay balanced between heaven and earth. And then you can remember that and take that as your own personal experience. And then during the week, if you want to practice something just for 5 minutes, just focusing on that 1 or 2 exercises that helped you. And then hopefully that will be a resource until we get to next Wednesday. Okay, so first of all, scanning through the body. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically just release out at the same time, keeping that connection between heaven and earth. So let's start off with the fundamentals here. We want to keep that awareness on the top of the head and imagine a string drawing us up. Now, as we do that, we want to release the base of the cranium. And then just to let the spine feel like it's just a string of pearls. So you've got this supported up, this releases, and the spine can just wriggle about and float about. Okay, like this, just really loose. And the sacrum is like a pendulum at the bottom of that string of pearls. So that's the image. Head floating up, base of the cranium free, and the sacrum hanging down. Let's get those hips really relaxed and get the sacrum able to move about like this, just floating about. Okay, like that. Get that string of pearls floating. Now, as we do that, I don't know about you, but I can feel a few places on my back that just feel not quite like a free string of pearls. So what we're going to do is we're going to just start the shaking in the spine this week and see if we can get our spine to release. I'm going to just start some of the shaking in some parts of my back that I feel a little bit obstructed. Okay. We're keeping that pendulum floating us up, keeping it as loose as we can. Okay, excellent. Now we're going to relax the shoulders, opening up the shoulders, all the way down into the hands and arms. Keeping the jaw relaxed, keep that floating up feeling. Okay, I'm just going to relax the pelvis as well. Just try to get that sacrum to feel like it's really flowing freely all the way down the spine there. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so let's just start shaking it down through the body, relaxing the jaw. Okay, the trick is to get that shaking downwards, but keep the floating up. So we're not kind of going pushing ourselves into the ground. We're shaking down like this, but at the same time, we're allowing the lightness to come in by floating that head up. And keeping that space at the base of the cranium is really important. Okay, very good. How are we doing? I think the upper body is pretty well sorted. So let's go down into the feet. Okay, so now we go down into the feet and we get that feet connection with the feet, kidney one connection there. And keep the shaking going. Keeping the jaw relaxed. Keeping that floating up feeling with the top of the head. And we're balancing that by opening up kidney one, feeling the connection with the earth. Right down into the fingertips, right down into the toes. Okay, excellent. Okay, so now just for a second, let's just stand and notice if there's been any change in whether you're feeling up or too down. So if you start off feeling too down, hopefully now just by doing that opening and releasing, floating the head up, we're starting to establish that balance between heaven and earth. Okay, awesome. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go straight for the most yin point of the body, and we're going to open up kidney one. And what we're going to do is we're going to explore how we can use kidney one to do two jobs depending on what we need. Okay, and I'll just get into position. Okay, so you think of kidney one as being the grounding point, so you think of it as being earthing down into the body, don't you? But actually, there is a way that kidney one can be used to bring uplift in the body, because what it does is it encourages the connection with the earth, and the earth basically holds things up in the body. Now, we just explore that with a guided energy meditation once we've got our kidney one energy really open. This is one of our favourite points on the Wednesday class, and no Wednesday class would be complete without really getting kidney one open. And we're starting off today, before we do anything else, because this is in some ways the most fundamental point when we're talking about connection between heaven and earth. It's probably the single most important point on the lower part of the body. So let's go make sure we really activate that. I'm opening up the whole foot as well, stretching in, opening up the whole foot. Okay, excellent. Just making my feet a bit warmer. I don't know about you, it's probably important this time of the morning. If you're anywhere like Norwich in the UK, it's pretty cold this morning. And get those feet warmed up and get that kidney one opened up. Okay, I can't believe it. We're already 1/12 of our way through our epic 1-year journey. So next week's going to be a big moment, because we're going to be switching into another channel and going in a different direction. And we can start seeing the pattern of yin and yang in the body in all of the channels. So looking forward to that for next week. But now let's just get that kidney one point as open and activated as we can. Brilliant. Okay. How are we doing? I think that's pretty good. Let's just see what it feels like when we get up. Let's get the other foot. Get the socks back on as quickly as possible. Here we go. Okay, so let's get our feet back on the ground and start experiencing that kidney 1 activation. Okay, now look at this. Okay, 2 things, everyone. If you were one of those people that the majority who are feeling Qi like this, what we can do now is we focus on kidney 1 and we feel the energy of the earth going upwards through the body and combining with this upward movement to the yang. And this gets us in touch with the raising up aspect of the yin of the body. So basically a supportive aspect of the body. So rather than sagging down through the kidney 1, we're using it like a root. You imagine it like a root. You imagine the nutrients in a tree going up the body and nourishing the body all through. That's that upward action of the nutrients. That's the yin coming up. And that will help us balance out that tendency to get too saggy and too heavy, okay? So let's really enjoy that. We're opening up kidney 1. We get that feeling. I'm just twiddling my toes around like this, feeling that connection. And now with visualization, we relax the hips, think right down into the earth and imagine that nutrients, the water and the soil and the lovely calming aspects of the yin of the planet coming up through kidney 1 and just basically raising up through the body and giving us a feeling of lightness through the whole body. Okay, now if you're one of those people who voted for being too up, we can do the opposite. We can breathe in, breathe out and send the energy down through kidney 1 and connect our energy downwards, a bit like those roots going down into the earth to try and find security and hang on into the earth. That's the image we could have if we're feeling too up. So you can see you can use kidney 1 both ways to balance out that yin and yang aspect of the body. Don't forget though to keep that thread floating up and connecting like that. Okay, awesome stuff. All right, we've already made loads of progress. I feel so much better already. So let's go focusing in on the burners and we'll start activating all the channels to secure that feeling of calm, but also active. Okay, so let's start off with the lower burner. Nice place to start. It roots everything else down. Let's just place our hand over the lower dantian. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Keep that kidney 1 open. Keep the head floating up. Relax the base of the cranium. Okay, opening up the armpits, getting the qi flowing down through our hands and into that lower dantian. We're now just going to circulate nice and calmly around here. And as we do that, we are connecting this lower dantian with kidney 1. So we're going to do it with a breath. Keep the hips relaxed. Keep that head floating up. Breathing in. Okay. Nice long exhalation. As we breathe out, we imagine the qi from the breath going down towards kidney 1. Okay. Keeping all those channels open, keeping the legs relaxed. Okay, and we're imagining the qi from the hands slowly but surely warming and energizing the lower burner. We're going to keep that the lower lock, the pelvic floor, nice and supportive with our mind. So we're breathing in, we're containing the qi in the lower burner. Okay, and then breathing out, we're imagining going down through the feet into kidney 1 and then down into the earth. Keeping the head floating up, relaxing the shoulders. Awesome. Excellent. So now let's give it a little bit of a helping hand. We're going to activate the kidney channel from kidney 1 into the lower dantian. So I'm just going to stop for a second, shake out the arms. I'm going to pick up the kidney channel at kidney 3, just behind the ankles. Tap up the inside back of the legs here. Up here, goes through here and into the lower part of the pelvis here. And then we're going to go round onto the back, onto the sacrum, and then tap down the back to the legs. Yeah. Okay, just do that 3 times. And As we're doing that, we're opening up kidney 1, we're imagining connection, we're imagining the energy coming up here into the lower dantian. It goes round and then down. Okay, this is the third one up here, and round. Okay, brushing off, checking in, lower burner, connecting with kidney 1, floating the head up, checking in on how we're feeling. Now you'll probably find that you feel a lot more anchored now. This feels really nice and secure, and that security gives you that feeling of rising up and sinking down nice and evenly. Next step is to make sure that middle burner is unobstructed, and we're just going to do a little bit of Ampuka therapy today. We're going to work a little bit on our middle burner using direct self-shiatsu techniques. Ampuka means treating the abdomen or treating the hara directly. So let's just gently press around here. These are my ribs here, and this is the abdomen. What I'm doing is I'm just gently pressing around and moving outwards like this. Any tension, and we can also do it with 2 hands like this, pressing in with the fingertips and the other hand supporting, and moving from one side to the other along this band here underneath the ribs. Okay, so just pressing in, gently pressing in. If you find any areas of tension or structure, we can just breathe into those. Very nice. All very nice technique for removing and just gently easing out any feelings of obstruction in the middle burner. Okay, excellent. Let's do some twisting. Let's do it in a different way this week. We're going to do it in slow motion, and we're going to do it mainly with the breath, head floating up, energy going down into kidney 1. And the emphasis here is on focusing on that connection with heaven and earth. Let's do it in slow motion. We're going to tune into this area now. We've activated it with the Ampuka therapy, and we're going to go really slowly round, looking round. Okay, get to the maximum stretch, open up kidney 1, keep that head floating up, and see if you can keep that connection between heaven and earth all the way through the technique, and then come back. Okay, now what this is doing is it's basically stretching the liver and the gallbladder channels, but it's also allowing them to connect again, heaven and earth. So we're going to keep that floating up like a pivot. Remember, relaxing the base of the cranium here, and the spine is like a string of pearls that twists round. We've got the middle burner, we're releasing the middle burner. Can you keep a connection between the top of your head and kidney 1 all the way round into the technique? If you can, that's absolutely awesome. Okay, so let's just do that. Floating the head up. Round we go. Just at the maximum point there, floating the head up, connecting the feet down into the earth. Excellent. Okay, and the other way. When you get to the maximum stretch, you'll probably feel twisting around here into the neck and shoulders, the legs, that's the liver and gallbladder channel. Okay, excellent. Let's just do it one more time, keeping that floating up, breathing in, breathing out, twisting the middle burner, keeping it nice and easy, head floating up, head floats up, feet sinking down through kidney 1, and then back, shaking out, checking in. Okay, let's see how we've poised now. Activated the middle burner. And if that made a big difference for you, that's something to bear in mind and maybe practice that during the week. Okay, so let's do some channel do-in. We're going to go down the stomach channel. So we're going to start off here around the outside of the abdomen. And we're going to go down the outside of the legs. This is the stomach channel. Okay, guess where we're going to stop for a moment? Yes, stomach 36. This is a really important point to regulate the middle burner. It's also very good for strengthening the legs.
Okay, so we're going to need that kind of help, and also it tonifies the spleen. And this is the spleen channel, inside front of the legs, and the spleen channel is supposed to give lightness to the body. So this is the part of the earth, literally part of the earth element, that gives lightness and support to the whole body. So it's really useful if you're feeling a little bit heavy, kind of thing like that, to stimulate the stomach channel. Stomach 36, down, and then make a really good job of tonifying and activating the spleen channel. Okay, particularly useful if you're a middle burner person and you're feeling this is the one for you, okay? Because what it does is it will activate the middle burner and it'll give you a superpower of lightness in the whole body. Okay, so that's really useful to know. Down we go. One more. Okay, and then we've got liver and gallbladder. We've already stimulated them with a twisting exercise. So let's just give them a little bit of a tap down the outside of the up, inside, right at the back of this abductor muscle here, and then round, tapping into the buttocks here. Go down. And up. Down, Gallbladder channel, and then up. So these are the channels for the lower and the middle burner. So let's just check in again. I'm going to shake out the legs, jump up and down a few times, just shake out, checking in again and see what we've got. Okay, kidney 1, head floating up. Can you feel that? We've got the lower burner nice and activated. We've got the middle burner feeling quite free really and open, especially with that twisting. And that's given us a really nice, easy feeling down the central channel of the body. And that really helps balance out the yin and yang of the body. Yang is connecting with the heavens and yin is connecting with the earth. Okay, which leaves us the upper burner to work on. Okay, so lungs are the channel of the month. We're just coming to the end of the month, so we're going to review all the lung points. I'll go through them and then we'll do point of the week, which is right at the end of the lung channel, and then we'll be ready for next week into the large intestine. So let's first of all work on the heart and pericardium channels. It's really important if you're an upper burner person, we want to kind of regulate that. That again regulates the nervous system, gives us a nice feeling of calmness, which will help steady that connection between heaven and earth. So let's tune into that upper burner. We're just going to work the pericardium channel here in the long middle of the inside of the arm. Before we do that, let's just stretch it, breathing in, breathe out. Tune in, just get an idea of how that's actually feeling. We're going to relax. We're going to tap here and the inside of the arm. This is the pericardium channel down to the hand and then back up again. Okay, now look at the final poll, the middle burner, we actually won this week, 42%. Wow, okay. So it's a good job we did a reasonable job on the middle burner then. Particularly if you do want to focus on the spleen channel, it's always really good for lightening the energy up. If you're too down and feeling too down and you're a middle burner person. So I guess that's a lot of us this week. So here we go. Tapping down and round. Brushing off. And the other side, just making sure that this upper part of the chest here is nice and open. Whoa, okay. And then out this way. Just 3 times around the pericardium channel and the triple heater channel. Okay, brushing off. Okay.
Very good. So let's just do some little stretches for the heart channel. We're going to put our hands together like this, the prayer position. Bring our hands up like this. Open up the elbows. Breathe in, breathe out, and stretch backwards. I'm stretching backwards to the wall behind me here. We're going to open up the armpits. Okay, so how's the heart channel related to yin and yang? Well, the heart blood is supposed to secure us and allow us to sleep. So let's do some tapping along the heart channel nice and gently. I want to keep it nice and easy on the heart channel, all the way around to the little finger here. Now, opening up the heart channel is important for quality of sleep and also for regulating the emotions, especially if we're stressed. This is a really good idea to just get this channel activated. Okay, the yang aspects of the heart channel are related to the emotions and the shen, the spirit, and the yin aspect is the blood, the heart blood that pumps around the body and gives us a feeling of calmness if it's a nice regular pulse rate. So the heart and pericardial channels are very important for regulating the overall yin and yang of the body, which is the theme of this week. So we're going to just very gently open that up and just make it nice and easy just to open up this whole heart area here. Okay, just going to keep it close up here. So we're going to start off underneath the armpit if we can, just gently tapping down. I'm tapping down the inside of the arm, down, aiming towards this little finger here. And then coming back up. This is the small intestine channel. And you probably noticed that we tend to go down this way with the yin channel, that's the heart channel, and the yang channel, which is on the outside of the body, we tend to go back upwards towards the shoulders and then the head and the neck. And when we do the lung channel in a minute, and just really bring that into our awareness, because that's going to set the pattern for the rest of the year as we loop our way through all of the channels of all the classical meridian channels. Okay, so brushing that off. Oh, I feel quite a lot calmer already. That really works. So I'm going to relax that. Okay, which brings us to the lungs. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly review the lung channel. I've got them all ready here. So that's our daily rhythm. As you can see, we're between 3 and 5 a.m. at the moment down here in the metal area. Deep sleep, dreams and memory, and detoxifying the lungs. Always a good idea in that last part of the sleep cycle. Okay, so we've got lung 1 here, right up in the top of the shoulder, which we did 4 weeks ago now. I'm going to do that in a minute. Regulates and descends the lung Qi. We've got lung 5 on the elbow there, outside the biceps tendon. It regulates and tonifies the lungs again and expands, remember, and releases the chest. We've got lung 9 on the wrist, which tonifies the lung Qi and the yin, you see. That's good, isn't it? Because that's part of the thing we're doing is balancing out the Qi and the yin. And then finally, we've got lung 11, which is right on the corner of the nail there. And that descends the lung Qi. So that's really useful as well, because again, if you're a too much up person and you're an upper burner person, you really want, that's the point for you this week, because what it'll do is it'll help descend the lung Qi. Okay, so we've got yin and yang aspects of the lungs. So depending on how you're feeling today, we can emphasize different aspects of the lungs. There's bringing in that air from above, that's more of the yang, descending the lung Qi, that's more down towards the yin, and tonifying the lung yin, which is the moist aspects of the lung. That's lung 11 point of the week, which is the yin point. So you see, we can use the lung channel itself to regulate the yin and yang of the body. So we better get going. So let's start off with lung 1. It's just here on the shoulder. When you're doing down, you can pretty much relax and just tap around this whole area here, because it's all related to the lung. We've got lung 1 and lung 2 all around here. Yeah. And the emphasis is in activating the lungs, bringing the lung Qi, the air Qi into the lungs, and that gets all around the body, what we would call oxygenation of blood in Western medicine.
You go down now in onto the elbow, and remember that biceps tendon. You remember, you feel your biceps, feel the tendon, and on the outside of that tendon, that's that way. On this side, maybe I can show you. Yeah, there we are. There's the tendon. You can kind of twang it there. That's lung 5 right there, right in this indentation right here. Okay, that's lung 5, and then we go down to lung 9. There's actually lung 10 there. We haven't mentioned that. That's one for the throat, and then we get to lung 11, the point there for the lung yin. So that's that point there. We can squeeze that as we finish the lung channel doing. And then we go over here and go up, and this is what we're going to be doing next month. We're going to be working on the large intestine channel. Okay, we'll go back up here and then down around to the lungs again. So lung is the first channel of the 12 meridian cycle, and it starts on the chest and it ends on the hands. And it's one of the yin channels of the body because it's on the inside soft part of the body. Okay, so it's part 1 of our 12-month epic journey around the meridians of Chinese medicine. Okay, so here we go, round again. Oh, I'm going to make a bit of a sound here just to clear the chest. Oh. And don't forget that lung 5 expands the chest, so we can do a nice deep breath there. And we go down to lung 9, 10, and 11. I'm just going to squeeze that lung 11 because I think I could do with a bit of lung yin myself. And then we just squeeze that nice and tightly in there on that point. It's right there on that nail there. Okay, excellent stuff. Okay, back to the large intestine channel. And one more. Tapping in there. And down. Test him round. And brushing. Okay, excellent. Right, let's just do the other side and then we'll check in with the yin and yang of the body. Okay, now remember that a lot of these points descend the lung qi, and that's really important if we're too much up in the body, because we're descending the lung qi gives us this sort of action. Okay, so it's really, really important. But also the intake of breath increases the yang. So if we're feeling too heavy, we want those big in-breaths. And if we're feeling too up, okay, then the lung descending qi function is what we need. Okay, so I'll let you choose depending on whether you were too up or too down. What I'm doing, I was a little bit too up today, is I'm going to emphasize that downward action of the lung qi. Expanding the chest, and then all the way down to tonifying the yin of the lungs. The yin of the lungs is the moist, cooling aspect of the lungs. It's all the cooling. So if you've got a bit of heat there, or you feel a bit dry in the throat, then that's just a point for you. Coughing is good, by the way, when we're working the lung channel, expelling that in air we don't want. Get down, expand in the chest, down, tonifying the lungs and tonifying the lung yin. Brilliant. Okay, one more pass, and then we're done. Okay, so here we go. Excellent. And then get down to the thumb again. Don't forget to expand the chest. Tonify the lungs and squeeze in. And then awesome. Okay, so let's check in again and see how we're doing with our balance between heaven and earth. So what have we got? We've got kidney 1 nice and open, either connecting down like a root or supporting us. We've got nice relaxed hips. We've got the sacrum hanging down, floating the head up. That string of pearls all the way down the back. Nice and relaxed. Lower burner, nice and steady and calm and firm there. Middle burner, nice and relaxed.
and open. And now we should have a nice calm upper burner. The main thing is the breath. So let's see what happens after doing all that lung work and see what happens. So we're going to breathe in and breathe out. Keeping that head floating up, opening up kidney 1. Not bad at all. Can you feel that? That nice easy breath coming in, the yang coming in there. This is nice and open, and as we breathe out, there's a natural tendency for the lung qi to descend, which gives us that feeling of calmness and connected to the earth. Really nice internal regulation there, and working with that upward and downward yin and yang energy. Okay, superb. So how are we doing? Well, we're just on track now to start, just to give a bit of time to opening up all the yang channels, and a little bit of time at the end for me to share that handout with you. Okay, so let's start working on the head and the neck. We want to make sure all these yang channels are cleared out. Now, notice that the lung channel goes down like here. Now, next week, we're going to start following the large intestine channel, and that actually runs up into the head. All the yang channels begin or end on the head, and they all go down through quite a narrow area, really, the neck. That's why this is a really central area to connect the yang from the heavens down through the head and down into the rest of the body. Otherwise, we're kind of like... Okay, so let's just start off by tapping around the forehead. Coming a little bit closer so you can see what we're doing. So I guess we'll do tapping around the forehead. Tapping over the top of the head, that's the bladder channel that runs all the way down into the foot. Sides of the head, that's the gallbladder channel, that's the one that runs all the way down to the feet, again through the hips and through the shoulders and through the middle burner. Okay, very good. Then we're going to just relax the eyes. Closely connected to the internal pathway of the liver channel and the kidney channel. Really good idea to just relax our eyes. Pressing around the eyes here. Very important area we'll come to towards the end of the year. This is the junction between the triple heater and the liver and the gallbladder channel. Really important for headaches on the side of the head, things like that, and stiff neck, eye problems. So this area around the outside of the eye is really important. And then we come around more to the front, we've got the stomach channel here. And this is where we're going to be aiming for at the end of next month, because this is where the large intestine channel ends up. And that will be the end of our metal element, January and February metal element journey. So this is where we're going to be aiming for, and we're going to be starting off right at where we ended off today, lung 11. And this is the one for breathing. It's very useful for opening up the lungs and opening up the sinuses. Let's go around here, underneath the cheekbones, relax the jaw. If you follow the cheekbones round, there's another set of really important points all around the jaw here. So we're just going to relax those, relaxing the jaw. Basically, it's very simple. We've got the front, sides, and the back of the body. We've got various meridian groupings that match the fronts, back, and sides of the face and the neck. So we've got the large intestine stomach channels. They run down here into the front of the neck. We've got the gallbladder and triple heater channels that are basically on the sides of the neck. So I'm just grasping around like this with my hands, or you can tap as well if you want to. Just squeezing and grabbing there. And then we've got the bladder channel, the small intestine channel, more on the back of the neck. I'm just squeezing that. I think finally I've actually got warm enough now to take my jacket off. It's probably all that yang energy from my head is finally going down. Okay, that's much better. Okay, so around here, go down here into the neck, and then we get to a very important part of the where all the yang channels from the head all kind of gather together, and that's around T1. I'll show you where that is. That's just around here. Let's kind of tricky to get to, but it's a really important area to work. And if you can reach it, we can tap down here. And tap all around this area here. Okay, we're doing an extra special bit of work on that area there, because it's going to really help us when we finally put together the whole heaven and earth thing, because we need to get that freed up to get this connection between the string pulling our head up and the spine. So I'm just going to do a bit of extra work on that, stretching, tapping around here. This is where all the yang channels run down from the head onto the shoulders. There's a lot of them there. There's the small intestine, the triple heater, the large intestine, and the gallbladder all kind of run down here. And that's why shoulder problems are such a common thing in terms of the meridians anyway, in terms of the channels. So let's make sure we get those really well worked. Okay, excellent. I'm just going to brush off now and go for the whole body thing, because now what we're going to do is we want to shake out any tension that we've released in those yang channels down through the body. We're going to do it by grasping up the shoulders like this, squeezing around T1, that's around here. We're going to squeeze the shoulders in like this, okay, like this, and breathe in, and breathe out, and release them. Okay. That's it, and now we're going to shake that area. I'm going to lean forward a little bit, just to really get that area shaking up, releasing the jaw. Lifting up, dropping down. Okay, excellent. So now, let's do a little bit of work on the whole spine. We've released all this. We've released the base of the cranium. We've released around T1. So now let's just make sure that all the way down the spine, there's no tension there. And what we can do with this is we can just bounce forwards like this. We're going to shake down like this. We're working down with our mind from the top here down towards the sacrum, shaking and moving the spine. Okay, and now we're going to do a simple stretch. We're going to breathe in, come up. Okay, and we're going to breathe out. I'm floating my head up and I'm thinking back and out this way so that I'm not compressing the spine. I'm thinking up and out this way, you see? And then breathing in, breathing out, lift the head up, create as much space as we can and open up the spine. Breathe in, stretch up towards the ceiling. And then breathe out, float down, release the jaw, release the upper back, and shake the whole spine down. Okay, let's do it a couple more times. So we're shaking, breathing in, breathing out, floating the head back and up, and stretching the spine upwards. Nice and easily. Breathe in. Breathe out, we're floating down as if we're floating down through water and shaking it off. Okay, one more time, breathing in, breathing out, floating up, and releasing backwards. Breathing in and breathing out. Hanging and shaking. Okay, now we should be pretty well set up, I would think. So let's find out how we're doing. We should be pretty well set up to getting that balance between the heaven and earth now. So let's stand, shoulder width apart, head connected to that golden thread, floating the head up, relaxing our jaw and letting that space be created around the base of the cranium. And then just relaxing the hips, allowing the sacrum to just hang downwards. The spine is like a string of pearls, just hanging downwards. That's it. Okay, and then opening up kidney 1, feeling that deep connection with the earth. And let's do both things. Let's send the roots down with our imagination, down into the earth. Okay, and then you can imagine the nutrients coming up and nurturing the whole body. So that gives us a really good anchor down, but also lifting up through the yin, coming up through the body. Okay, perfect. Okay, that feels pretty good to me. So let's just consolidate that with this simple breathing exercise. But what we'll do is we'll link it directly to the heaven and earth, opening up kidney 1. We're sinking down, we're breathing in, and then exhaling, pushing up and floating up from the top of the head. So we're integrating all the time, the floating up and the sinking down. Breathing in, sinking down, feeling the weight of the body, floating up, opening up kidney 1, integrating the earth and the heaven in the movement. Really nice and easy, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay, one more, breathing in and breathing out. Okay, very good. And then just relaxing and tuning in to feeling that connection between heaven and earth. Okay, that's it. I can't believe it. The hour has gone. I've got that handout for you as promised. So let me send that off into the chat before. Thank you, James. Yes, absolutely. There we go. Let's just see where the handout is. Yeah, here's the Chinese clock handout. You can find lots of them online, but this is one that I found and I used in the slides, and I'll be looking at quite a few later on. Again, if you want to Google it, it's great. So, but you can download that right now. Next week, we're going to be continuing our journey around the Meridian cycle, and we're going to be looking at, if I go back through the lung, we're going to be moving from the lung into the large intestine, and that's the time of waking up, going to the toilet, releasing the bowels, meditating. It's that calm point between waking up and getting on with the rest of the day. And it's a really important part of the day to really try and develop, because it sets ourselves up for the rest of the day. So there's lots and lots of ways we can improve and develop our sense of calm and our life. And I hope you really enjoyed today. Thank you very much for your time. I'm just going to go quickly flick over to the chat and put a heart in the chat. Thank you very much. Okay, Chris has put a question in about post-viral fatigue. Okay, that we can maybe do that next week, Chris, if you like. And if you've got any questions, I'm going to put a heart in the chat. Maybe next week we could have a question and an answer session. We have actually done that in the past on the Wednesday class. We've actually done whole themed classes on different issues, medical issues. So if anyone's got any particular needs or anything like that, then maybe we can put them in chat and work them into future Wednesday class sessions, gives us a theme. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Kat, for looking after the chat. See you later. And yeah, tell all your friends. We've now got, believe it or not, 980 people signed up for the Wednesday class. Not everyone makes it live, but we only need 20 more and we'll hit 1,000. So if you've got any friends, just share the link with them. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. And yep, see you next week.